Hello! It's been a while since I've done a react video, so today I have chosen to react to one of Bricky's videos. I am going to be watching What is Warhammer 40k, Timeline of 40k Lore, because I thought it was a perfect video for me to watch to continue to try to absorb and learn 40k lore. It is a slow process for me. If you come to my streams, you understand that I have a very smooth but well-hydrated brain. And I get lots of information from all of you via stream or comments and stuff. And little by little, it'll stick, but it's going to take a while. So just patience, right? So I thought it'd be good to watch this, especially since we have so many passionate Dark Angel fans. I also wanted to just comment that I'll be doing a subathon in about a month and a half or so. And we've already decided that one of the goal rewards is I'm going to buy the Primarch, the Dark Angel Primarch figure. The I think it's like $60, $70, that one, whatever. I forgot the specific name. But anyways, I'm going to buy that and I'm going to paint it. I won't make any promises for how it turns out, but it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. I'm really looking forward to it. I did paint my first figure, the Custodes. I shared it on stream. If you didn't see it, but you're interested, let me know. I can post it just as a community post, the final product picture of my beautiful Custodes. It was really nerve-wracking painting, but also sort of fun. It'd be sort of fun to do another one again, I think. Although I think the Dark Angel Primarch one is going to be way more complicated, but who knows? We'll have fun. Anyways, let's watch this video, and I'm going to learn more with my smooth brain because Bricky is going to be great. I am going to skip ahead to just this part. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention. Bricky is really close to 1 million followers, and it's super fucking exciting. So if for some reason you haven't watched Bricky's video, well, definitely watch his video before you watch me react to it. I talk during the video because I usually watch these more than once after I've done my initial reaction. So, and that drives some people bonkers. So watch that first, because then when I talk over, it won't bother you as much. I'll pause a few times here or there. Also, if you're not subscribed to Bricky, go subscribe to him. He's almost got 1 million subscribers, and that's awesome. So go help him out, all right? Okay, let's watch. I'm excited. Boop.
The age of knowledge and enlightenment has ended. The age of darkness has begun.
Oh, has begun. It's like me every day.
Roughly 60 million years ago, there existed aliens.
Oh God,
and
aliens.
These aliens lived short, painful lives.
That
they
looks
belonged
painful.
to radiation-stricken worlds and often died of various cancers before the age of 30. These aliens, the Necron tier...
Dude, that's me every Monday when I wake up. The Necron tier. I'm gonna remember Necron tier, like me on Mondays. Understand. Oh my gosh, I feel bad for them already.
Looked up to the stars and found extreme beings of real power. Beings with the ability to create life. The old ones of the galaxy. They asked these old ones for help. Please cure us of our ailments. To which the old ones said, piss off. So the Necron tier gathered together and did the sensible thing. They declared war upon these old beings and were promptly beaten into the dirt back to their short, painful lives. In the world of Warhammer, there is a hell. This hell is not like you and I know it. It's more of an afterlife, a place where dead souls end up. This place has many names. The Empyrean, the Sea of Souls,
Sea of Souls,
the Immaterium,
Sea of
and
Souls,
the Ether. But mostly,
Sea of Souls. Oh, it's like Final Fantasy 14.
While you and I
the warp.
Oh, okay. As a place of horrors and punishment.
I'm putting a little point on the board. I know of the warp. Haha. I think I remember, right? Because the warp was there's that big hoo-ha. You know, I'm not getting ahead of myself. No, I know, because if I say it wrong, the warp. Yep, because the warp is important for travel. I know that much. Okay.
The warp isn't really that. Not in the beginning. It's energy, but the kind of energy formed from thought and soul. Psychic energy, where the dead souls of people
if you don't have a soul.
in a place that is impossible to understand. No laws of reality exist. Like, time is merely a suggestion, and it is not something that can be braved easily. The warp would be like sailing the ocean in a pirate movie. To jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long on your boat could drive a man mad. And there are many dangerous things lurking in those.
Oh yeah. So if I remember right, the warp is what is used for travel, and that's why it's really important not to fuck with the Emperor's lighthouse, basically, because without knowing, otherwise they don't know where they're going. Yeah. I call it Emperor's lighthouse, by the way, because I can't. Again, smooth brain, trying to remember.
Those depths. Yet the sea is not evil. It simply is.
Yeah.
Mostly. There are more malevolent beings in those waters, areas that you do not sail towards. This would be known as the realm of chaos. The realm of chaos exists in the warp as a special area led by 3 chaos gods. Korn, the god of combat, murder, and slaughter,
Nurgle too, right?
with a pile of skulls taken in his name. Tzeentch, god of change, mystery, and deceit.
Oh my god!
A confusing paradox of lies, schemes, and sorceries. And Nurgle, god of rot, pestilence, and Genshin impact. All things rot in the end. And
that follows. That
Nurgle
follows.
is waiting for you with open arms.
These gods Grandpa.
Ruled their respective
Grandpa, you ruin every holiday party.
Their many followers against each other in the great game to be the most powerful of all the gods. So the warp exists. Hell is real, parallel to our galaxy, with the realm of chaos and its gods fighting for control. But there are also gods of real space, gods of the normal world too.
Real space.
They're called Katon, and
not
they
fake space.
Stars.
You think God stays in heaven because
they eat
he
stars?
Too lives in fear of what he's created?
These star gods saw the plight of our poor Necron tier and how the old ones cast them aside. And said,
old ones are mean.
What? You guys want immortality? Oh, we will make it happen. We are the gods of the tangible, of real space. We can give you a cure. So then they ate all their souls.
What?
And turned them into robotic automatons.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember this now. I remember this now.
A hollow shell of an intelligence left. That is.
To be fair, they didn't lie. They did. I mean, right? Like, if they put the souls in, I mean, it sort of depends. Okay, you know what? Never mind. Just let's scrap that. They look cooler now, though. Look at that. That's so cool. I sort of want a Necron figure to paint because look how badass that looks like. I love it.
Is technically immortal. With the power of an entire species' souls, they turned their new robotic slaves on the old ones and hunted them to extinction. The Necron tier, now the soulless, undying Necrons, got their wish at the price of their souls.
Of their freedom
count the
and
number
their
of
souls.
kind gods on an amputated hand. With time, the selfish star gods turned on each other, fighting one another for more chances at glory and power. With this, the leader of the Necrons, Zarek, the Silent King, the man who doomed his species when he accepted this deal, waited, planned, bide his time until he seized the perfect moment and turned his legions of undead citizens against the star gods. Gods cannot be killed, but they can be broken. So
and they
Zarek
look badass.
broke the star gods into thousands of pieces and locked them away in vaults, taking their free will away as they did to them, and sealed them away as basically Pokemon to be used as weapons in the future.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's Pal World! Sorry, is this too soon? Sorry.
It's the Void Dragon.
Zarek then, with his perfect memory, exiled himself for his sins, flying out to the darkness between galaxies to atone for what he had done. This entire situation, the genocide of the Old Ones and the rebellion of Zarek, will go down in history as the War in Heaven. It is the most brutal war the galaxy has ever seen and ever will see. This was a conflict that took an entire galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods that ate stars. The
Yeah, no
Necrons,
kidding.
rather
I wonder how
crippled
big
from,
they were.
you know, the War in Heaven, decided to go to sleep in gigantic tomb worlds on various planets until the upstart species of the galaxy died out. And So turns out when you have a war that lasts tens, hundreds of thousands of years and involves the genociding of multiple species, the old ones of the galaxy, and the consumption of souls from an entire race, the warp gets a little wacky. You know,
that's silly warp.
Pool, and it was nice and calm. Corn is over there splashing about, so you don't really go in that direction.
Nurgle's farting in the water.
Diarrhea, so you don't really go in that direction either. But you can still kind of get in the pool. The pool's still fine. Turns out when you add a couple trillion souls to that kiddie pool, it'll make the waves a little more turbulent. And turns out a lot of them like to pick a side: Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Corn. So the once calmer warp, the once relaxing kiddie pool, has now been bloated. A million years of war will certainly make Corn, god of murder and slaughter, more powerful. A million years of war will probably make Tzeentch, god of destruction.
I just want to address the fact that Tzeentch's lower abdomen makes me a little uncomfortable. Is it just me? Like, it just a little uncomfortable. All right, we'll move on. We'll move on.
Perception and change, a little more powerful. And good God, a million years of war will make Nurgle, god of decay, just the tiniest bit more powerful. Now entering that kiddie pool is no longer fun, it's dangerous. The warp is now a problem. Hell is resembling hell a lot closer to what we imagined it originally. The Sea of Souls and the Realm of Chaos are now intertwined.
Ew.
So who else to brave the galaxy than a species that won't need to deal with that?
The Eldar! I remember the space elves.
Are space elves. They have a lot of the traits that you probably think of when you think of elves. Tall, slender, pointy ears, bit more androgynous looking, no matter what DeviantArt will tell you, and a bit stronger on the emotional side. The old ones, as I mentioned, could create life. And when they were getting, absolutely bodied by the Katon and the Necrons, they made some new races to try to help them. One of them was the Eldar. It didn't save them, but they're here now anyway. Oh, and also the orcs, but they're busy right now.
Look at those cute little fungus. Those cute little fungi.
Are a particularly psychically powerful race. So they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons, hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is basically like being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from hell. This is called being a psyker. And
a hell wizard.
If you want to do cool wizard shit like lightning from your hands or reading someone's mind, you can do that, but you siphon the energy to do that from the warp. Luckily,
so psychers
the Eldar
are
very
hell
good at
wizards.
handling this without too many negative effects, because, summoning
Space
power
elves
from the Sea of Souls with the new Chaos friends can be a bit of an issue. But Eldar are pretty good at it. And you see, what's really cool and also awful about Warhammer is that most developed species travel long, faster than light distances by going through the warp,
right?
They create a tear in reality to unreality.
See, I can remember some stuff.
Faster than light travel. Cringe. We go through hell itself to deliver your packages. For those of you who play Minecraft, you know how the Nether is like a pocket dimension? So moving 10 spaces in the Nether is actually moving something like 1,000 in the real world. That's basically what warp travel is. Just much like in the Nether, there are a lot of things that want to kill you. The Eldar found a way to do so in between realities. Not regular reality, not the warp, something else. A purgatory of sorts. A fabricated psychic realm that allowed them to travel without fearing the negative effects of the warp. The Eldar were the perfect fit for the new galaxy, and they took it with open arms and pointy ears. The empire of the Eldar spread everywhere, and it spread all the way until now, the 21st century. That's right. While you were watching NPC streams on TikTok, the space elves were ruling the galaxy, and they did so for quite a long period of time.
Perfect
The
time.
21st century came and went. Humanity grew and grew, all under the nose of their elf overlords. At this time, Humans
Silly
advanced
elves.
your classic sci-fi style way. We began to expand, colonize our solar system, terraformed our planets, created new and more powerful machines and starships. The age of Terra, also known as Earth, but we call it Terra here,
Because
was
it
here
sounds cooler.
and existed
Yeah,
between
makes
the
sense.
21st
Makes sense.
century all the way until the 15th millennia. Not much is known about this time. Not much needs to be known. Humanity grew up, saw the stars. It's classic. Then came the years between 15,000 and 25,000, the age of technology, or to some, the dark age of technology. This is when humanity reached a new apex of technological understanding. When you think of sci-fi, there's a lot of things you can think of. Star Trek, maybe Star Wars style. You can go cyberpunk dystopian. The age of technology was
play that more.
Deep sci-fi, like a scientific prowess that fringed on magic. This is also when the first ever psychers began showing up in humanity.
The Hell
Individuals
Wizards!
with the genetic mutation to be able to access the warp, and then because of that, travel through it. Humanity was no longer constricted to their early ways of travel. With warp travel, they could go anywhere in the galaxy. They equipped ships with gigantic AI machines, with everything you would ever need to know about mankind, and sent them out on colony ships to expand their influence across the galaxy.
I'm sure
And
nothing bad happens from this.
Truly the golden age of humanity.
Yeah,
and with
forever,
every
right?
golden age,
Oh no.
there is a fall. While the
no.
new human upstarts of the galaxy were reaching new levels of technology and prowess, the Eldar were engaging in debauchery. What happens when a species has everything? You can produce unlimited food out of nothing.
They help create a new chaos god.
Gone. You have dominated the stars and have created a fast travel system that doesn't rely on the dangers of the warp. You have nothing else to do. You have no struggles.
Play
no
games.
Problems.
Play video
and feel
games.
as if there is nowhere else to go. Well,
Clearly they
you
didn't
begin
have
to
video
experiment.
games.
The Eldar started harmless enough. You know, you take a serious interest in your species' culture, your arts, paintings, poems, plays. These are Eldar, elves. Remember? Their emotions are heightened, more powerful than us humans. So your plays get louder. They start to push on the limits of your hearing ability. Your
I would
music
hate that
becomes
so
different,
much.
more deranged. It pushes the boundaries of what is art. The visual spectacle of art becomes more bizarre, more delusional, more eccentric. And let's not forget
And they
a
do
very
drugs.
important sense. Touch. Pornography is one thing. Brothels is another. What if they all mixed? What if your brothels were part of your art and music? And what if those became more deranged? The boundaries of debauchery were not just met, but shattered. Next thing you know, murder is commonplace
Mordor.
and often mixed with the art, music, and sex. Pain is a common byproduct of entertainment. Whatever sensation you can have must be increased, must be enhanced, must be taken to the limits. The Eldar Empire slipped into a nightmarish realm of debauchery and excess, with the worst of it taking place in a city in the Webway, a black market for these kinds of heinous acts known as Kamara. Some Eldar saw the writing on the wall, saw what was happening to their species and how far they had slipped. So they boarded continent-sized starships called craft worlds and left their empire, seeking a more enlightened, calmer existence.
Calmer.
Some, those in Kamara, pushed it to even greater heights, relishing the pain and torment they inflicted on those around them. All during this,
reminds me a bit like of Drow.
The yang of the world was fed by these emotions, by the psychic power of the Eldar, by the souls taken in these depraved acts on a galactic scale. And just like that, Eldar ended. Slanesh, the fourth chaos god, was birthed into existence and consumed the souls of 90% of the Eldar population. Those that fled were spared the worst of it, and those in the Webway and Kamara were able to stave off the pull of Slanesh so long as they continued to commit horrid acts of torture and violence. But for the majority of the Eldar, their empire died with Slanesh's birth. The new fourth chaos god, she who thirsts, the god of unspeakable excess of pleasure,
look at all them
pain,
eyes, though.
hedonism, and perfection, had been born. With the fall of the Eldar Empire came the ruin of humanity. Slaanesha's birth sent storms in the warp across the galaxy, making travel between star systems impossible. Coupled with a huge classic AI rebellion, as a staple in these sci-fi settings, humanity began
really
to suffer
is,
the
yeah.
age of strife. Now, planets that relied on intergalactic travel were completely cut off. Long-range messages normally sent through the warp were snuffed out. If you were a planet that was great at mining stuff but couldn't get food, well,
Sucks
you
to
know
be
that movie
you.
about the rugby players in the mountains? Oh
God.
And because of these insane warp storms and fluctuations, psychers began to appear among the human population a bit more often. Now, this initially had them hunted down as witches, because that's pretty common in this setting, but some deemed it right.
That's pretty
to protect
common in a
them.
lot of
Unfortunately
settings.
for those people,
It's
psychers,
new and
because
different and
they
scary.
open a gateway to the warp, don't really know how to use their powers well, and they kind of attract demons, who then force their way through the psyker as a conduit of sorts and begin to slaughter the population of your planet. The
Yeah,
Age of Strife was
a good reason to be
catastrophic
cautious.
period of time for humanity and set back their progress tenfold over the not one, not two, but 5,000 year period. During this time, the age of humanity that we know began to form. Worlds equipped with large mechs for agriculture began to equip them with weapons to defend from alien and demonic invaders. Over 5,000 years, this became a custom and tradition, dubbing them as night worlds, a feudal society of honor-bound knights in gigantic robots that
Hell
uphold
yeah,
the chivalric
gigantic
code
robots!
to defend their worlds and honor. A group of individuals on Mars, after radioactively bombing their planet to become inhospitable to human life, ran their entire lives
Why did they do that?
underground on the few life support systems keeping them alive. Though
Wait, why did they do? Why did they? I'm just gonna assume it was an accident.
those technicians who could work on the machines and keep them operational were revered, and over 5,000 years went from skilled members of society to full-blown priests. The cult mechanicus, or tech priests of Mars, formed in the ashes of the Red Planet with a religious fervor and doctrine on the cult of the machine god. And on Earth, or Terra, techno-barbarian tribes waged war across the planet in a Mad Max style of blood and gore, until finally, a mysterious man who lived in the shadows of Terra for millennia finally revealed himself to the populace. His name was the Emperor. He deemed himself the Emperor of mankind. Where did he come from? I don't know. Why is he 10 feet tall and the most powerful psyker of all of mankind? I don't know. Why is he basically immortal? I don't know. Where'd Cotton Eye Joe go?
So he's
Who
like
knows? But he's
40K
here,
Jesus.
and he isn't happy with all of you ripping up Terra. So he began the Unification Wars, where he and a very early version of the famous Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, reunited Terra under a single banner. With blood. Then, after taking over Earth, he reunited the Thunder Warriors into the fucking dirt. This is where we get the Imperium of Man, also known as the Imperium. The new faction headed by the Emperor of Mankind, with a treaty signed with the cult mechanicus on Mars to spread out and reunite humanity after the catastrophic Age of Strife. But first, the Emperor is going to need some smaller versions of himself.
Oh, little babies.
18 of them, I meant. Gene-crafted sons of the strongest human to ever live. All of them possess unparalleled strategic power, intelligence, formidable strength and size. A real powerful force to unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy. Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy? It's like throwing the baby like a basketball. It's about what happened. The Chaos Gods intervened and grabbed the 18 Primarch gestation pods and yeeted them across the galaxy at a whim, everywhere they could possibly go. A galactic game of keep away. So the Emperor had to get them back. So begins the Great Crusade.
I'm gonna assume that somehow, like, because like, how did they yeet them away? Why would they yeet them away instead of just killing them? Maybe I guess they couldn't. But then how did they eat them? So many questions. Someone should be making. I gotta write notes down to investigate. Get a little. I know this is like a snippet. Obviously, he can't go into extra super detail of everything because then the video would be incredibly long, and this is not meant to be incredibly long. But I have so many questions.
A crusade across the stars to reunite not just humanity, but the Emperor with his fallen sons. The first
fallen
to be found
babies
was Horus.
Aw. Hi, Horus.
One of the strongest and most noble sons.
Of
the
course.
Emperor carried with him a legion of newly crafted warriors with genetic material made from their Primarch father. These are the newly made Space Marines.
Space
For
Marines.
Horus, his were the Luna Wolves. And as the Emperor continued on his Great Crusade, he found more and more of his sons, reuniting them with their individual Space Marine legions. Leman Russ, the cunning hunter with the Space Wolves. Rogel Dorm, the Phalanx with the Imperial Fists. Angron, the Barbarian, the very angry with his World Eaters. Fulgrim, the Perfect with his Emperor's
Their names
children.
make me
And
laugh so
Jagatai
much.
Khan, the Swift, the Stoic, and his white scars. Those were just some of
I like the white
18,
scars
and
motorcycles.
one by one, his lost Primarch sons were returned to him, and their Space Marine legions returned to them. The Great Crusade saw humanity once again reconquer the stars, returning worlds of humanity back to the Imperium and killing any and all who stood against their noble crusade. But in the
Yeah, because
years
crusade
of the
and noble
31st
go
millennia,
together.
treachery
100%.
would break this all apart.
Men, we don't know what we did.
Horus, the Emperor's most beloved and favored sons, named War Master for the Crusade, succumbed to the power of chaos and daddy issues. All because of that bastard Erebus. Yo, fuck Erebus. Slowly, Horus would become corrupted, turning the Emperor's sons against him. This begins the most pivotal moment in our story, and the one that has like 50 books written about it, the Horus Heresy. Half, 9 of the 18 Primarchs turned against the Emperor, and the following years were a bloody battle for the throne of Terra. The Emperor originally was working on a special webway project, just like the Eldar, to make faster-than-light travel significantly easier and safer. Really
Yeah, the
improve
lighthouse.
humanity to allow them to conquer the stars without the risk of the warp. Well, this big red idiot named Magnus kind of blew a hole into that. Literally
Damn it,
and
Magnus.
figuratively. So Big E over there is stuck on a gigantic golden throne, holding back the oncoming rush of demons and powering the Astronomicon. Basically a big North Star for people who are sailing in the warp to help them
lighthouse.
navigate. The Horus Heresy saw many loyalist and traitor legions pitted against each other in a bloody war until it reached Terra itself. Horus, unable to break through the lines and with time running out, made a gambit and opened his ship up to be boarded. The Emperor took this challenge, quickly allowing someone else to take control of the throne as he teleported his way onto Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor,
Ooh, that's sort of a cool
unable
name.
to
I like that name.
truly kill his most beloved son, changed his mind right quick when Horus strangled the life out of his other son, Sanguinius.
No!
I'm sure you've seen this image at some point. The Emperor then said, "I'm not gonna sugarcoat it," and proceeded to psychically blast Horus into complete oblivion, killing not only his body, but also his soul. Horribly wounded from this duel, the Emperor is returned to the Golden Throne in order to keep the demons at bay and power the Astronomicon, because without it, humanity would be flying blind. There
Fueled
he sits,
with his
slowly
psyker
dying from his wounds
slurry
and the
juice.
strain of powering the Golden Throne. The only thing keeping him alive is feeding upon the souls of 1,000 psychers every single day.
Slurry
This
juice.
was 10,000 years ago. We are now in the 41st millennium, modern day. Warhammer 40,000.
Oh! Hooray!
The
Hooray!
Emperor remains on his throne. The Imperium is a rotting carcass of an empire, a fascist, xenophobic cult that worships the Emperor as a deity despite him never wanting to be seen as a god. Over the span of 1 million worlds, the ecclesiarchy, the Church of the Emperor is spread throughout. Inquisitors with unparalleled power root out any sign of heresy or lack of devotion to their god Emperor. The other half of the traitor legions move about as Chaos Space Marines, raiding and pillaging the Imperium, while the loyalist half does their best to keep the Empire alive. All throughout this, they must endure Orc invasions, Eldar trickery, the reawakening of the Necron race, and the Great Devourer, the newest tyrannid threat from the darkness between galaxies that has arrived to feast on their worlds. The theme of Warhammer 40,000 is regression and intolerance. Every major faction in Warhammer has had an empire that spanned the galaxy only to be crushed back to a hollow shell of what they once were due to their own failings. Culture,
hubris.
the arts, personal freedom, religious tolerance, the simple possibility that alien life might not want to kill us is considered heretical and is often met with a pistol to the head. There is no time for these things. All there is time for is worship of the God Emperor.
I really like this artwork. I think in the whole video, this is my favorite art piece. I don't know. I really like the composition and it looks really cool.
And a million wars to be fought. To be a human in the 41st millennia is 99% of the time to live a horrible existence.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that with 40K.
Of other humans across a million worlds throughout the galaxy. A galaxy where AI is outlawed, so humans are repurposed and lobotomized to become slaves. A place where lack of devotion is met with death. And if you even have devotion, there's a good chance the threats to the galaxy, chaos, and aliens will kill you anyway. Warhammer is a world where you revel in being bad. There are protagonists, there are antagonists, but every faction is some shade of evil. Because playing the bad guys is always more fun. And my friend, you have a selection. So pick up that
I love bad
soldier,
guys. I like really good villains.
And the other
It's
3
like my
million
favorite.
men and women in this single deployment on this single world in this single battle will now show them the might of the God Emperor. That weapon in your hands has killed 99% of the alien populations in this galaxy. Unfortunately for you, soldier, you're fighting the final 1%. May the Emperor be with us. Glory to the first man to die, for in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Nice. That's so good. Bricky does such a great job. Oh. So good. All right.
Thank you, everyone. I hope I have helped teach you about Warhammer. If you are a brand new person and you want to get a bit more about the world, there are multiple books that do a great job
I should
at showing
read
off
some of these
how
books.
the entire universe operates. For the most part, Warhammer is a setting, and often stories are told in that setting with a Warhammer coat of paint. Gaunt's Ghosts is Band of Brothers, but Warhammer. It's honestly one of my #1 recommendations for new people. Assassinorum Kingmaker is an assassin novel involving those night worlds. This is Mission Impossible, but Warhammer. Bloodlines is Blade Runner, but Warhammer. And the list goes on and on. If I had to recommend a brand new novel for a first-time Warhammer enjoyer, these are the 4 I would recommend. Horus Rising, Caiaphas Cain, First and Only Gaunt's Ghosts, and Infinite and the Divine. They are all fantastic novels, and they will get you acquainted with the world without needing
find
to know
time to
too
read.
much. Thank
How
you
do
all
I
so
read?
much for watching this video. Get yourself a Gamer Subs flavor. Enjoy the new sweet 6-pack. And if you're curious and you want, you know, just a little Lord, you can find him in the description as well on.
Awesome. Well, now I feel far more educated. I'm definitely gonna have to rewatch this a few times to let stuff sink in. It actually, what was exciting was listening to it and like remembering a lot. I know some of you might have heard my videos with Aelfric explaining it to me. I know Aelfric didn't get everything right, but that was the whole point of the video, because the whole vibe of the video was like sitting next to your friend and your friend's trying to explain stuff. There's no way your friend's gonna remember everything in perfect detail, but like it was sort of cool to listen to him say this and then be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember that. So I'm not hopeless. Little by little, I'm starting to understand. I'm thinking I want to pick one of I'm gonna pick either a faction or one of the Space Marines, probably salamanders or something. Although salamanders, I heard, isn't. Anyway, you know what? I won't get into it. I would like to eventually pick one and like sort of deep dive into that. I'm sort of leaning towards the Necrons actually, but maybe I won't. I know that there was a really good book dealing with the Necrons too. That's sort of a comedy, and things. But yeah, I'll look into it a little bit more. First, I got to finish Space Marine. Got to figure out how to fix that, how to make my computer want to play that game. But anyways, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. And again, if you haven't, please go subscribe to Bricky if you haven't, but I'm sure you have because it's Bricky. And if you're watching a 40K video, then yeah, you already are. Let's not even pretend. Anyways, thank you so much. Hopefully I will learn more about 40K soon. Hopefully I'll be able to get that Dark Angel Primarch figure and totally paint it in a way you would completely expect and not at all in a silly way. And yeah, we'll have a lot of fun. Yeah, I look forward to putting up some more content soon. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. Bye-bye. Fish on me, there's a fish on you. A fish in the tube, so let's eat fish stew. Fishy take my mane, fishy slurp my tea, fishy jump in frame, and fishy love to